So really quick, before we get into this game, someone in chat asking how many rounds are being played today. I know that yesterday's qualifiers slash matches for the Challenger did play a bit differently, and they did hold rounds. Everything's playing, and everything's playing at the same time, so like it is a bit of a shotgun bracket in that regard, and that also means it's a long cast ahead of us, guys, so buckle in and get ready for it. But game number 1 in the second best of 3 today, in the bottom right, is going to be the Blue Zerg player, PandaBearMe.
Receiving incoming transmission.
And in the top left, we have the orange Terran player from Exile 5. It's xKawaiian.
And we got a $3 donation coming from JTDC. It says, so glad to be here again. Life's been too busy to be able to see you much the last month. I feel like, what are we, dating, man? No, it's great to have you back, and I'm sorry that you missed out on the channel, but luckily you're here now, and that's all that matters.
I haven't seen you for a while, so I bought you this $3 necklace. Here.
Ooh, is this real plastic? No way! But, okay, as far as Kawaiian goes, we saw... You know, first off, Kawaiian's like a sub to the channel, so I'm not giving him any extra love, and I'm not trying to like baby the cast for him or anything like that. But we did see mistakes made, and he was called out for them, and hopefully those same mistakes don't get made here. Because while I had mentioned that we've seen a lot of roaches and ravagers on a map like this, we've also still seen players stick to their guns, go with Banelings, go with Mutalisks, and that move command that he did in Qualifier series, if he does that here, will get him killed.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to see how PandaBearMe is going to play this out. If he is going to go for that Roach Ravager style, or if he's going to just kind of do his own thing. Now, I used to call PandaBearMe like the evolutionary Zerg, or like something around adaptivity. Because
oh my god, I forgot about these. So Fear Dragon used to make me do voiceover intros for his Breaking Out series, which I still don't understand why you asked me of all people, but he would always have nicknames for everybody, like... like the Creative Toss, the Tertiary Terran, like just there's there's always just like these silly little I guess adjectives for them. But anyways, Kawaiian's hunting for overlords right now, kind of cute to see. It's risky to do this because 2 Marines could easily go down to a couple of Lings with speed out on the map, but killing overlords, I cannot stress how much that can get you ahead in the early game, even if it's by little bits at a time. So he sees this one, that's fresh meat right there.
Yeah, that's a really cool play. And PandaBearMe going to come in over here with these 4 Zerglings.
He's going to run around. Hellions are out of the way, but they're not ready to go yet.
Yeah, this is a little bit awkward because I was about to compliment how xKawaiian pulled all of his SCVs away from the natural as soon as he saw those Zerglings moving across the map. But I guess he moved them back in a little bit too soon.
Yeah, gets the Overlord Killer 2, which is going to supply block PandaBearMe, but he was making 3 more to compensate. But still, that denies scouting, that's 100 minerals down the drain, and of course, the supply block is never a fun thing to deal with. Especially if Kawaiian himself was gearing up for an all-in. Like, he scouts that he knows it's not the case, but if he got over here with those Lings, if everything happened, but there's no base down, but instead, like, a medevac coming out... Oh, I just realized, 2 factories.
Double factory!
Oh, he's going... Okay, so there used to be a version of this where you did this with Blue Flame, but I guess with the amount of money you have from that gold base, you can actually just afford 4 Hellions at a time. If you're going 4 Hellions deep... and there's only Lings and Queens, you're going to roll over your opponent. But he's making roaches.
My God. Okay, so this actually excites me so much because xKawaiian used to tell me, like, I was at Cheesadelphia watching him play in the open bracket, and he's like, dude, yeah, when I play a TvZ and, like, you're casting me, I'm going to make sure I do this build. Like, do you know what the special, like, I think he called it, like, the Kelagod build?
He's going Hellbats with it, too. Yeah, so you pull the SCVs to repair, you get the Hellbats to go with it. It's worth noting, Hellions cannot contest roaches, but Hellbats can. And the best part about this is when you rally Hellions across the map, not only do they get here faster, maybe you transform into Hellbats, you can also have fresh Hellions to use against the drones that are usually fleeting and running away. Now, whether you want to call it a Kelagod build or not, this is something that can be thwarted if controlled properly. 7 roaches and a decent spread, I mean, these don't go down too easily. But the first set of Hellbats really push in here aggressively, getting on top of the Queens, getting on top of the roaches. SCVs are on auto-repair, so they're trying to have a bit of trouble catching the units they want to repair, so they're stuck in the back lines.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to PandaBearMe. He's doing a pretty good job kiting back and not taking as much damage on the front lines. Only 1 or 2 of the roaches are actually getting attacked at a time. But finally, xKawaiian is gonna be moving a little bit further forward. He loses his Hellbats on the right-hand side, though.
No, this is already starting to flop out a bit. His control on this was a bit awkward coming to. If he backs away, again, producing 4 Hellions at a time, he can regroup and come back with a huge force. But right now, everything on the front line dies. And you actually brought up a really important thing I was waiting to jump on, where he was only attacking one unit at a time. It's worth noting when it comes to roaches versus Hellbats, Hellbats actually have not only more base damage, but splash. But the range is kind of garbage, and if you're only shooting one roach, you're really wasting the advantage that Hellbats give you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with how that went. I'm sure xKawaiian is very disappointed with how that went, because it really was supposed to do a lot more damage. You can see it's 25 workers to 41. There's no third orbital command. The starport is going to be ridiculously late. In fact, it's not even getting started just yet.
So
does he transition into full-on mech? No, he's adding more barracks.
No, he's going back to bio. But I was going to say there's some aspects of mech that could apply here, which is kind of cool. Where later on, like even if there's roaches and ravagers, Hellions are really good at running around and catching a Zerg player off guard. The best mech games you ever watch rarely have to do with just like a big Thor push, but oftentimes have to do with the Hellions constantly getting around the roaches, picking off drones in the mineral lines, devastating your opponent through economy. Unfortunately, though, xKawaiian did set up for an all-in to start. It failed, and now we're watching the repercussions of it. And kind of like what we saw earlier with Qualifier's missed attack against xKawaiian, the same logic applies. xKawaiian missed the attack, he didn't get the kills he wanted to, and now he's going to be playing recovery the best he can. Recovery through attacking was not a bad idea, but there's not enough drones here for him to actually kill.
Yeah, that is going to be a little bit of a problem. And there's more than enough roaches over here for PandaBearMe. And I like the fact that he's just been keeping a lot of those roaches at a hold position at the natural expansion wall. Just making sure that those Hellions can't get that kind of sneaky run by in case xKawaiian was doing something weird, like he was pulling up some more Hellions to go in for round number 2 or something. No, nothing of the sort's going to be happening. And xKawaiian is playing from so far behind. PandaBearMe just has such a ridiculous amount of space to go work with.
He doesn't even have Stim started yet. He's producing 2 Hellbats at a time because that's all he really can do. Like, he goes for a siege tank instead. I mean, I guess have this now instead of later. Okay, sure, but if you don't have Stim, why play bio? Like, he may have just been better off trying to transition into mech, or even Banshees off of this or something, but this isn't going to cut it. Like, PandaBearMe, not only is he going to take on this bunker, no problem, he'll be able to get on top of that tank with some corrosive files with relative ease. And the tank is in range, it's getting a couple of decent shots, but the bunker goes down pretty much immediately.
Yeah, it's not even trying to say that PandaBear or xKawaiian is, going to misplay this now. It's just he's so ridiculously far behind. It shouldn't be possible to actually hold against what PandaBearMe is doing. Like, he is already lost so much investing into that early push in. He's fallen too far behind.
Yeah, xKawaiian's in for some trouble. There's so many Ravagers that just got made, and it's all about this corrosive biles, being able to hit tanks, being able to hit potential Liberators that would be here to defend. Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of Ravagers pushing in, but he's got a lot of Ravagers to lose, and that's the point of this. As he walks away from the ramp, that only tank's not going to be in range. The SCVs are going to get pulled into this, and it's worth noting Ravagers don't have a lot of health, but it doesn't matter because there's too damn many. And PandaBearMe is going to actually take the first game in this series.
Big congratulations, PandaBearMe, on the first win.
I think it's a bit of a mistake from Quine to go for that. It's cool, right? Like, as you said, he wanted to show off the Kel'God build, but I feel like that's not...
That would have been better off if he didn't just go... Like, maybe even not go for the army, or maybe you go for the army, but you only turn some of the Hellbats, and you fight with some of them, because a lot of the thing that PandaBearMe was doing, right, was he was pulling back his army and trying to buy time. But if he had just had Hellions running into the main base during that, and trying to kill off workers...
No, it wouldn't have happened. He had things blocking the ramp, man. Like, that wasn't going to happen.
Okay, yeah.
Now, had he been able to, yeah, I agree, but that...
Yeah. Alright, well, game number 2, I believe, is happening on... They messaged me the order for this. Dusk Towers is our second map.
Not a bad map for xKawaiian to play on coming into this. I think Dusk Towers is one of the few maps Terran players actually kind of beg for when it comes to these sort of situations. So we'll see what this ends up looking like for him. As that first game was not a great showing, but it was also a strange build. So I'm not going to count him out just yet. But I would love to see him try something a bit different.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. As soon as the players are ready, we can go ahead and hop into this.
I'm so glad I went and bought energy drinks last night, by the way. Like, because I'm gonna try and put off as long as I can until I take like that first sip. Because today's gonna be a longer cast. We already have that hour delay, so actually only really 1 hour into the cast at this point. We'll see you guys in a sec as we get into Dusk Towers. All right, back for action in game number 2. Nope, that's the wrong score. There we go. Spawning in the bottom left side of the map is going to be the Orange Terran representing XL5, xKawaiian.
And sitting up 1-0 in the top left-hand corner, give it up for the Blue Zerg player, PandaBearMe.
Left-hand corner.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
yes. Do your zoom-ins.
Sorry, I do it all the time too.
I know. I've seen you do that to Zombie Grove too.
All right, so JTGC opens up this game with a donation. Says part of the reason I haven't gone is that I'm in the process of buying a house. In short, soon I'll have a threshold. That's kind of cool, man. Good luck with that. Pre-congratulations, I suppose. PandaBearMe, though, is also looking to get a new house. He decides to buy one over here. Proxy Hatchery is dirty, and Proxy Hatchery has worked in almost 100% of the games we've cast. Even if you scout this, though, I feel like it doesn't make this easier to manage.
So
now, luckily, xKawaiian was going for a gas build. This wasn't Command Center first. Had he gone Command Center first, this game's like almost automatically over with that scout. But the fact that he's going to have the potential to have the factory down as soon as possible, the fact that he can lift this barracks back, build a bunker, hold the top of this ramp. Oh, I don't like the bunker there. I don't like the bunker there one bit.
It's a little bit iffy, but I will say, like, the one thing that I will be going for xKawaiian is that I've seen Scarlet do this to xKawaiian, like, multiple times, and I think they even sat down and talked about, like, the better things to do to defend this. So, like, xKawaiian at least has experience with this. He's not going into this in a completely foreign situation where he's never really, there's, like, on the fly trying to figure out what to do. Cool. Well, first Marine's going to wail away at that hatchery. Obviously, it's not going to be going down, but just getting any sort of guaranteed damage down on it. Make sure that he pulls back the Marine before the first Zergling pops out, and it should be okay, but big problem is going to be, as you were saying, the Roach Horn that's going to be popping out, and once those Roaches, once the Ravagers start coming out, that is where things get really dicey for xKawaiian, when they're starting to throw those corrosive bile shots down on that bunker. Well, here come the first set of Zerglings. Just getting a poke and prod just to see what's going on. Now, as you were saying before, like, it's really important. xKawaiian didn't go for a natural. And that means that his factory's a lot faster. He's going to have siege tanks a lot earlier. And when you get out a siege tank plus the medevac, that's like a big breaking point where things start to turn around a lot. You get a lot more momentum to make the defense happen, right?
Yeah. Well, the second bunker is going to hold a little bit longer. That tank's going to do a great job of defending. But the thing for PandaBearMe that everyone needs to make sure to know is, like, this... the funny thing about this is it is technically an all-in. But it also doesn't have to do a lot of damage to transfer out. Because what you do end up doing is forcing your opponent to dedicate a lot to the defense.
It definitely can work. There's actually some weird instances where I've seen the Zerg players actually say, like, I don't care if you're going to scout this. I'm going to actually take your natural or your third expansion and even start to mine from it later on if you don't clear this up. But here we go. Bunker is getting focus fire down. This is going to cause all sorts of problems and headaches. Oh, Siege Tank doing a good job, though. The medevac is going to be popping out soon. This is where xKawaiian can get a little bit more aggressive with the defense. As weird as that sounds, getting aggressive with the defense, but you can start to try and actively pick off Roaches and Ravagers with it. Oh, also throwing down natural.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I said. Like, you don't have to really... as dumb as it is, like, it sounds like a crazy commitment, right? But not only are you going to get a lot of creep spreads, you're going to force your opponent to scan a lot just to be able to clear this up. You're going to do damage with Roaches and Ravagers. It might not be a lot, but you're going to do damage, period. And you force out so much early. Now, it's important that xKawaiian actually takes his natural as PandaBearMe takes his third. Both of them are going to be trying to play a little bit of macro behind this, and nobody has tunnel vision on this situation. Because if you dedicate too much to this on either side, either as the defender or as the attacker, you can start throwing the game through that alone. So they're both thinking about moving forward, and that's a really important factor in this situation.
Incoming transmission.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's exactly as you're saying. They're not tunnel visioning into this, and this goes back to that experience. I know PandaBearMe loves to play weird and wonky styles and do strange things, and I know that xKawaiian has experienced this at least once or twice recently, thanks to Scarlet. So it's cool to see that they're adjusting to this. A Liberator harassment is going to be coming out from xKawaiian. He could use this to maybe try and get like a little bit of cleanup or an earlier defense, but when I saw him play versus Scarlet, he used this immediately to dart across the map and try and get some harassment done.
You know, the funny thing about this creep spread, it's not only does it like gunk up the base and it's annoying, he's actually going to spread it backwards towards his own base. So there's, if he starts creep spread over here, they could beat in the middle, and he'd have full map creep spread by like 6 minutes or 10 minutes in, excuse me.
It can be frustrating when it's like you're not just dealing with creep from one direction, it's creep from both.
So I thought it was going to be strictly the Liberator that goes across the map trying to do damage. I actually really like the choice to go for the medevac. It gets unscouted, which is the worst part of this, and his ramp is on lockdown with that Liberator coming in. So now this medevac's got the potential to kill a lot of what's in one of these bases, and PandaBearMe is going to have to, at the very least, just run away.
Oh, PandaBearMe might actually just lose a base. If these units, I mean, they don't have stim or anything, so it's going to be hard to actually kill off the hatchery in time, but...
See, I don't know about this. Like, I really think the damage done could be a lot more devastating if it were to kill a bunch of drones and a queen and then pressure an evolution chamber. Killing a third base hatchery is a 300 mineral investment. It's not really that important right now, especially when you consider PandaBearMe's not even fully saturated up just yet. A couple roaches get spawned at home. Looks like he'll focus these down. That hatchery is getting low, but again, the damage here has not really been that harsh just yet. In fact, the Ravagers and Roaches do come home, and XKawaiian seeing this should now be signaled that he could actually push out and clear up this whole base. He's instead going to focus on this side. Liberator comes into the main, is in range of a Spore Crawler, however. He is shutting down a bit of mining from PandaBearMe, but truth be told, this is not being handled the greatest. There you go, the lift side. It does save the Liberator, though. It keeps the medevac alive. So far, not bad. But again, it's going to take a long time to clean up all this creep, and a long time to deal with that hatchery.
The biggest thing is how late he is on actually going back and cleaning up all that creep and killing off the hatchery and everything. Like, this is something that was 100%, I think, part of the objective of going for that harassment on the other side of the map was to force all those units back and to give yourself the safe opportunity to clean all that stuff up. But it's like a missed opportunity now. Maybe he's not actually thinking about going for... No, he's throwing down a third. So it's not just like he's adding on production facilities and trying to go for a big 2-base push. But even if he was going for a 2-base push, I would have liked to have seen him at least clean up the creep so he has the option to go for a third. So killing off the active creep tumors in the center of the map is actually a good thing. Gets one of them. Might be able to, if he decides to scan and get the other one.
I mean, there's a considerable amount of creeps, so a considerable amount of scans required to actually clean this up, but I think the creep inside the third probably a little bit more of a priority. Now, we talked about how he hasn't cleaned this up, and a big part of this now is the mobility of the roaches and anything that come across the map are going to have. Yeah, there's going to be medevac drops, and there's going to be tanks, and there's going to be stim, but the point of it still is the roaches can actually maneuver around on creeps so much better than if they weren't. On top of the fact that, yeah, man, this creep spread... It's actually, I think with the amount there is, it's going to take 2 scans at least if XKawaiian wants to even take a third.
Whoa. Pretty decent Widowmine shots in the third expansion. Gets 6 kills. 2 of the Widowmines end up dying. A third one is still alive and going to try and drop itself in the natural expansion. I don't know if it's going to be able to get a lot of damage done with the Ravagers here. Yeah, we'll get this off.
Yeah, nicely done. Shuts that down. But yeah, Tank's going to finally move forward. Looks like XKawaiian's thinking about taking this third at some point. I mean, God knows, it's almost might be better just to take the base up here with the amount of time it'll take to take this base. But
there's one active creep tumor outside of that range.
Just barely, too, yeah. If PandaBearMe plays this correctly, he could actually put that back and block the command center from going down potentially later. Super dirty, super gross. But as XKawaiian now decides to move out, he's going to be met with a lot of roaches in the middle of the map. And supply advantage actually goes to his opponent. Now, those tanks are great, but they're also picked up and immediately removed from the fight. Focus down on those front lines, and PandaBearMe, he bleeds out a lot for this, but so does XKawaiian, and the difference is PandaBearMe had a lot more to lose. The availability's dancing the roaches. Oh, no.
XKawaiian loses the siege tanks also. That was so important for actually the defense to even hold the ramp. Now, he may still have enough with stim actually finished up to hold here, but it's going to be really difficult.
GG gets called. His own, like, Manor Mules, but GG to PandaBearMe. He'll take this series 2-0 and advance on in the brackets. XKawaiian will still have a fighting chance in the loser's bracket, but it's going to be tough for him.
Yeah, big shout out to PandaBearMe. He is a player, of course, I think that in this situation, against like a lot of the other top players, he'd be the underdog, still trying to build a name for himself. But in this situation, XKawaiian was sort of the underdog. He's going to go to loser's bracket, but PandaBearMe is still just playing really, really well.
There's a couple things I want to talk about going forward, though. We did put sub only on because people are getting rowdy about for Fear Dragon here. Now, I don't think Fear Dragon needs people to speak up on his behalf, but I want to clarify a point being made because this will probably continue into the cast. I love Fear Dragon to death, guys. And if I didn't, I would be this happy, plucky caster who lets him get away with saying something that would be maybe incorrect, maybe not. But for example, the point of like earlier, where, and this just frustrates me. People are like criticizing me for this of all things. Like, Fear Dragon says there's no medevacs in the main. Well, the camera's focused on a medevac in the main.
Yeah.
If I just say, "Oh, you're absolutely right, Fear Dragon," that makes a terrible fucking cast, and I don't think it's a good thing to compliment mistakes. But I agree. Maybe I'm being a bit of a dick. That's just how I am with Fear Dragon. That's our relationship. But my point is, I'm not going to start babying Fear Dragon or compromising the cast because you guys think Rifkin's being a bit of a bully. So we're leaving sub-only mode on because I think there's just too much ignorance in the public chat right now. So maybe we'll take that off a little bit later. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We are going to go to a small break. Before we do, we're going to give a thank you to Mr. Boris Makarov. He donates us $5, simply says butts, and Flotch wants to know why I'm not reading his donations out. Even though you're right, it is sexual, and this is like the first donation you made that doesn't have to do with God, I really don't want to shout out something about you shoving a cactus up your ass, okay? Like, I cannot read these donations, man. They're hilarious, but I'm going to get in trouble if I do, so I can't. But we'll leave Fear Dragon to pick the next series, so we'll go to commercial break, as again, he's going to be the driver today, and we'll see you guys in a couple minutes.